Netflix has the world addicted to its content. For whatever reason, they have figured out how to keep us glued to the screen non-stop. Episode after episode, series after series. What are they doing on a content marketing strategy to have us so addicted to their content?
I have lost a couple of friends and family because of my addiction, but they just don't understand. I mean, Netflix is the greatest thing to happen in mankind since Pop-Tarts.
In today's episode of Casey Does Marketing, we break down this exact strategy. Let's get into it. Netflix uses one of the most sophisticated content recommendation systems on the planet. Now, the interesting thing about this content system is that it's all based on viewer preferences. Now, you go to Netflix, you watch some shows, you like some shows, you dislike some shows. All of these things play a big role in how Netflix rolls out their content, especially how they invest their money. According to Wire magazine, in 2021, Netflix invested a whopping $17 billion into their content strategy. This is amazing because this goes into film producers, writers, production managers. They paid a lot of people. A lot of people got jobs by this investment, which also woke up Hollywood because if you notice, there's been a shift in the content game. A lot of Hollywood companies and film studios are shutting down, especially through the COVID phase. Atlanta was wide open. And also during this process, Netflix was better positioned because they were able to produce their own shows and they had a backlog of content being shifted throughout the site during this process. It's an interesting phase that Netflix has created because this is unusual to many other systems because Netflix has put up their own money, they invested in their content, they've seen the subscriber base growth, which is phenomenal. It goes to what people always say, you got to spend money to make money, and Netflix has proven that with their $17 billion investment.
I actually binge watch Netflix on average probably 12 to 16 hours, just watch the various shows and movies that there are. And anytime Netflix drops a new season, I have to watch the whole thing in one sitting. There's no other way you can watch it. Like Stranger Things 2, I watched that whole thing in 3 hours. It's possible. I have lost a couple of friends and family because of my addiction. My mother no longer speaks to me, and my wife left me for the second time. But they just don't understand. I mean, Netflix is the greatest thing to happen in mankind since Pop-Tarts. So I actually own the world record for longest Netflix binge session. My record was 95 hours. And the only reason I had to stop was because I passed out. Binge watching does have its drawbacks. There have been multiple times where I actually ran out of things to watch. But that doesn't stop me from still watching everywhere I go.
Why do we keep binge watching Netflix so much? Well, one of those things is Netflix has a binge watching system. Now, the system is they release an entire series at one time. So you get all the episodes from your favorite show or a brand new show, and you're able to watch those episodes back to back to back, which keeps you locked in and in place. And this is perfect for Netflix because it's more watch hours. Well, I mean, they don't really count it as watch hours like YouTube does, but Netflix content marketing strategy tells them that this particular style of movie does well. We're going to recommend it some more. And at the same time, we're going to start to make more content like this. This is brilliant. This also sends a substantial amount of dopamine to the viewer. So the viewer is getting all the dopamine they need to stay locked in and not do anything else. But Netflix keeps you hooked. They keep you subscribing and you pay every single month. It's genius. And on top of that, all of the recommendations are totally personalized. So if you're going for a particular interest, I know when my wife watches Netflix, her Netflix looks totally different than mine. My Netflix is way out there, and then my son's Netflix is totally different. So their system for properly recommending content preferences is brilliant. It's one of the best out there aside from YouTube's. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Let's get into the next one. User interface and experience. UX, user interface, is a big deal, especially within the tech space. Netflix has this system locked down perfectly. Designed for the use of engagement, so people want to like, they want to share, they want to talk about it online, they want to promote it for Netflix. They barely even have to promote shows because their user engagement system is so phenomenal. They have been recognized by the Nielsen Group as being one of the most highly engaging platforms on the internet. Localized content. Netflix also invests into up-and-coming shows, up-and-coming developers, up-and-coming producers to make their own content. By purchasing and investing in this content, this enables Netflix to have an evergreen content management system because they're always working with the up-and-coming talent. They're always investing in them, making sure they have the right cameras and the right system, because 30% of Netflix localized content has grown in the last couple of years, according to Verge. So this is one thing to keep on the lookout for independent producers, filmmakers, on the rise. Make sure you reach out to Netflix because they are investing in up-and-coming content developers. Netflix release timing is amazing. They release content during peak times of the year. No matter what's going on, Netflix is always in tune to the current event, and usually they have a content or a show that can get recommended to you during this time. You really got to give them their props on that. Their system is amazing because Netflix has found that their viewership spikes during holidays as well as growth through localized content, because viewership for Netflix content spikes during the holidays. And this is also great for local content because they also get a boost in this process, according to Verge.
You want to get better at marketing? Study what Netflix does. Did you know people spend 1.8 seconds reviewing a Netflix thumbnail? You do this too, by the way. You're scrolling through Netflix, you're looking for something to watch. They optimize those thumbnails based on what you're interested in and what you've consumed in the past. They've got many different thumbnails that they have an option to show you, but they're going to look at, all right, what does this person usually watch? What are they usually interested in? And then they're going to show you that. So how does this relate to your content? Well, hold on. I'm going to get there, okay? Have some patience. Jesus. Check this out. The human eyes move 3 to 4 times per second to process information, and we can analyze an image in as little as 13 milliseconds. How long is 13 milliseconds? I don't know. What do I look like, a fucking scientist? Here's another interesting discovery that Netflix made. And relax, I'm gonna show you how this relates to your content in a second. So Netflix says it also identified several other winning strategies, showing close-ups of emotionally expressive faces, which is what we do on thumbnails. Show people villains instead of heroes. That's an interesting take. And I would say in your content, a lot of times you wanna focus on the villain, on the problem, on the pain point, bringing it to the attention of your customer and then showing them how to solve it versus just focusing on the desired result or what you do.
Cross-promoting and marketing. Netflix utilizes social media for building the buzz for their content. Social media campaigns boosting viewer anticipation and engagement is one of the most specialized things with Netflix because I follow them online. I see what they do with YouTube. I see what they do with other platforms, and it's amazing. They have one of the most active social media teams I've ever seen, and you got to give them their props on that. So when it comes to social media and content in general, it seems like Netflix has this locked down, and there's a lot we can learn from them. So stick around for the next couple things, and you're going to learn how you can boost up your content game by using some of Netflix strategies. Let's keep going.
Netflix's social campaign using their out-of-house billboard marquees is absolutely genius, and I'm going to tell you why. In October 2020, this was Netflix's first Hollywood-style billboard that they released on LA Sunset Strip, basically to create conversation and connect more with their audience. What I love the most about this, and through my research, is that it's not an out-of-house marketing campaign, it's actually a social campaign. Based on social trends and the latest movies on Netflix, the marketing team decide on what the latest billboard will be. They then promote this on social channels such as Twitter, LinkedIn and Facebook. And you can see down here the stats they get are absolutely wild. And according to Ad Age in this article, since the launch they've generated over 850 million impressions. These billboards create so much conversation around what's trending on Netflix. For example, this billboard here is in relation to when Bridgerton 2 came out on Netflix. They're so cool, they're attention grabbing, they create conversations, and they also connect with their audience as well.
They appeal to everybody. They have one of the most diverse content libraries on the internet. No matter what you're into, no matter what your interests, or you're not sure what you want to watch, they have category upon category upon category of different styles of videos that's sure to resonate with anyone. All you have to do is just search through it and you'll see for yourself that they have properly figured out how to leverage these categories to meet the needs and the interests of their viewers. High quality production is one of the things that Netflix is known for, which I find amazing because yes, they invested $17 billion into their system, but you also got to keep in mind that the level of how they roll out their content is phenomenal because this particular platform uses high budget everything. And you wondered, how are they even making money? How is this even sustainable? They're having A-list Hollywood actors, they're using the top of the line cameras, they're putting together full feature films, and they're all being done by Netflix team as well as localized content developers. And it makes you wonder to yourself, how are they going to stay profitable in the long term, considering that everything is getting more expensive? But I think that's one of the wonders of how they get their job done because they are leading the game with content.
Excited about all this new stuff that's going to get made. Now Netflix is bouncing back. They're kind of going the other way from what they were doing, which was just really that woke kind of annoying stuff. and they're going back to like kind of like glorifying cannibals again.
Another area that they're excelling in is interactive content. Interactive content is on the rise. The introduction of interactive shows, games, all the above allow people to improperly engage, allow viewers to engage with the content that they're watching, which makes the experience overall fun. Global reach. Netflix is available in 190 countries. If you're available in 190 countries and you have a system like this, you're sure to even grow even bigger. That's why platforms like this are always looking to work with people in different places, set up shop, because it keeps them growing. And at some point, you got to wonder, are they running out of subscribers? Is this process too overly done? Are they experiencing substantial growth? Can they sustain this level of growth without people moving along to something else? It makes you wonder. Leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on it.
For the movie Extraction 2, Netflix did some of the most creative marketing stunts. The first Extraction movie actually did 135 million views, and it's in the top 10 most viewed movies on Netflix ever. So for the second Extraction, they pushed the marketing super hard. They had this billboard of Tyler Rake, and they actually built it so his face would sweat. And they basically grab a sweaty selfie with Tyler Rake. So he would approach it and he'd be sweating from his forehead. And of course, this is just water coming out of his head, which is very creative. And the next stunt was actually insane. They took a helicopter and flew the billboard across the beach.
It says Extraction 2.
Insane.
Oh my god.
That's what she says.
Oh my god, it's so good. Now that is marketing.
And this part of the campaign was so smart because they anticipated it going viral. They said that the helicopter and the sweaty billboard actually got 3 billion impressions. And this led Extraction 2 to be the #1 movie on Netflix for 2 weeks. And the sequel actually became the number 10 movie on the top 10 most watched movies on Netflix. So Extraction is number 9, Extraction 2 is number 10. They also had Tyler Rake lives projected all over the country, on random buildings and cities, even in this mall. Netflix's marketing stunts and billboards are just next level. And this helicopter one worked perfectly because there's so many helicopters in the movie. And it also has a 20-minute action scene. Overall, very impressive, and Netflix's marketing is very entertaining. Follow me for more marketing videos.
Netflix also frequently update their content, which is critical for keeping attention. Let's be honest, everybody's attention span is about the same as a mosquito. So with Netflix being on top of making fresh content, it enables them to consistently replenish their stock, as well as bring in new people that might be interested in what they have to offer. And it also gives them even more detail on how to improve going forward. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that $17 billion invested makes a lot of sense, because with a platform being behemoth like Netflix, you always want to stay at cutting edge of technology, information, as well as being a place where people can just spend their whole afternoon. Unfortunately, I hope you're not spending your whole afternoon on Netflix. If you're doing that, then you should be considering doing something else, because this is 2024. As we're going to 2025, you kind of want to be a little more adaptive to what's happening and, you know, improve on life. But one of those big things is that Netflix also makes a lot of partnerships and acquisitions. They partner with studios, acquire their rights, release their content, which is great for the up and coming content creator, because it enables them to be able to sell their works and get more notoriety in the process, because the amount of viewership that Netflix has can turn almost any content creator into a star. And this also allows Netflix to have a 25% increase in the amount of content that they release, because by acquiring small companies and making them available on the platform, according to Bloomberg, it's phenomenal, because it keeps everything in motion and it keeps the creator economy floating. Netflix also has a strong diversity, equity, and inclusion aspect to them, because they make it a place for everybody, no matter what you're into. So that is one of the strong points about them as well. So keeping close to communities of all kinds enables Netflix to be relevant in all communities, all spaces, and keeps them top of mind. And you all know top of mind is an important aspect when it comes to marketing. They have one of the most strategic pricing models in the game. If you've been sticking with Netflix, you've seen their price increase over time. And this isn't just by them just wanting to be greedy. No, they're delivering an awesome product. They're paying a whopping sum to keep it going. By increasing the profit, it enables the shareholders to keep a return, and at the same time, it keeps the company more valuable and increases its asset price by enabling them to make more money off each viewer. So keeping you stuck on the platform for years on end is a beautiful thing for them, because it consistently brings in new money every single month. And did we mention the trailers? The trailers that Netflix use are phenomenal. They're Hollywood level. And by them playing that short little clip to keep you engaged, to keep you watching, this is one of the most effective marketing strategies there is. It's essentially a 30-second clip, a short, a reel, if you really want to get real about it. High quality trailers promotes the content even further, especially on social media platforms that all routes right back to none other than Netflix. And according to Adweek, this also boosts the amount of engagers, because some people might just hop on Netflix just for instance, a Dave Chappelle movie that might be amazing, and they'll hop right off once they get what they need, and they're likely not to return until Dave drops a new series. And that also brings me right back to series. I believe that Netflix going into the future is going to have a tough time with platforms like YouTube, because content creators are flocking to YouTube because it's easier. You can make an account, you can get on there, you can tell your side of the story, and you can build an audience from there. But with Netflix, it's more closed off. You have to know somebody, or just be in the know in order to be on these platforms. So content creators, keep thriving on YouTube so we can make this a space that's just as more valuable, if not more valuable, for us as content creators. But once again, this is yours truly, Casey vs. the Internet. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of Casey Does Marketing.